The forgotten city of Eldoria. The map was a tattered, sun-faded relic, its edges crumbling like ancient parchment. It had been passed down through generations of the Greywood family, a curiosity more than a guide, detailing a journey to a place dismissed by scholars as myth. Eldoria, the city of whispers, said to be lost to the shifting sands of time. Eldoria, the last of the Greywoods, traced a trembling finger over the faint, looping lines that marked its supposed location. A remote, forgotten corner of the desolate ashfall wastes. For years, the legend of Eldoria had haunted her. Tales spoke of a city of unparalleled beauty, built by a civilization that vanished without a trace, leaving behind wonders and mysteries. Some whispered of a great magic that guarded it, others of a devastating curse. Eldoria, a scholar of lost civilizations and a seeker of forgotten truths, felt an irresistible pull. She had exhausted every known archive, interviewed every desert nomad, and studied every ancient text. The map, however flimsy its authenticity, was her last hope. Her journey into the ashfall wastes was arduous. The sun beat down with a relentless fury, turning the ochre sands into a shimmering mirage. Winds whipped up stinking dust storms that scoured the skin and choked the breath. Her provisions dwindled, and her water skin grew lighter with each passing day. Yet a stubborn fire burned within her. She was driven by an ancestral yearning, a feeling that Eldoria wasn't just a place, but a key to understanding a lost piece of humanity's tapestry. After weeks of relentless travel, guided only by the cryptic symbols on the map and the occasional cairn marking a nearly forgotten trail, Eldoria found herself at the foot of a colossal, wind-sculpted mesa. The map indicated this was it, but there was nothing. Just more sand, more rock, and the mournful howl of the wind. Despair, a cold, unwelcome guest, began to settle in her heart. She slumped against a sun-baked rock, eyes scanning the horizon for any sign, any anomaly. Then, as the sun began its descent, casting long purple shadows across the wasteland, a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer caught her eye. It was not a mirage, for it held its form, a rippling distortion in the air. Cautiously, Eldoria approached, her hand instinctively reaching for the hilt of the small dagger she carried. As she drew closer, the distortion intensified, revealing not empty air, but the faintest outline of an archway, as if woven from heat haze. It was a veil, a magnificent illusion. With a deep breath, Eldoria stepped through. The air on the other side was cool, fragrant with the scent of unfamiliar blossoms, and surprisingly humid. The blinding glare of the desert was gone, replaced by a soft, ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from the very stone around her. Before her stretched Eldoria. It was breathtaking. Buildings of white marble and gleaming brass rose gracefully, adorned with intricate carvings that depicted celestial maps, constellations, and beings with wings and multiple limbs. Towers tapered toward the sky, capped with polished obsidian that reflected the soft light like distant stars. Gardens, impossibly vibrant in the heart of a desert, bloomed with iridescent flora and flowed with crystal-clear water channels. There was no sand here, only smooth, pearlescent pavements. But Eldoria was silent, a profound, echoing silence. No birds sang, no insects buzzed, no breeze rustled leaves. It was a perfectly preserved ghost,
a city frozen in time. Eldoria walked through its deserted streets, her footsteps the only sound. She peered into open dwellings, finding ornate furniture covered not in dust, but in an inexplicable film of shimmering particles. Libraries held scrolls of vellum, their delicate script still legible, describing advanced astronomical observations and complex philosophical treatises. Workshops contained intricate devices of brass and crystal, their purpose beyond her comprehension. There was no sign of struggle, no hint of a cataclysm. The city simply ceased to be inhabited. As she delved deeper, Eldoria found herself drawn to the city's central plaza, dominated by a towering monument unlike anything she had ever seen. It was a helix of gleaming metal, spiraling upward, culminating in a colossal, multifaceted crystal that pulsed with a faint, rhythmic light. Around its base, tablets of polished stone bore inscriptions in a language she slowly began to decipher, aided by the many texts she had encountered. The tablets spoke of the Eldorians, a people who had achieved a profound understanding of energy, consciousness, and the very fabric of reality. They had not built the city in defiance of the desert, but in harmony with it, using its latent energies. The Helix Monument, they called it the Chronosynapse, was the heart of their society, a device not designed for war or industry, but for collective consciousness, for experiencing time and existence on multiple planes. The final tablet, however, sent a chill down Elaria's spine. It described their ultimate experiment and collective ascension. They had sought to transcend physical limitations, to merge their individual consciousness into a grand unified awareness, leaving behind their physical forms. They believed they would achieve a higher state of being, a true understanding of the cosmos. As Eldoria read the last lines, the crystal atop the Chronosynapse pulsed brighter, and a faint, almost inaudible hum began to fill the plaza. It was not a hum of machinery, but of pure energy, of countless minds vibrating in unison. The shimmering particles that coated everything in Eldoria seemed to swirl and coalesce around the crystal, forming ethereal wisps that danced in the air. The Eldorians hadn't vanished due to a curse or a disaster. They had chosen to leave. They had merged, becoming a part of the city itself, a living, vibrating consciousness that flowed through its very stones. The shimmering veil was not to hide Eldoria, but to preserve it, a timeless monument to their grand experiment. Overwhelmed, Eldoria retreated from the plaza, feeling the presence of countless dormant minds around her. She understood now. Eldoria was not forgotten. It was simply beyond human comprehension. Its inhabitants were still here, in a way, part of the fabric of existence. She spent a few more days in the silent city, not exploring as much as simply being. She learned to listen to the subtle vibrations, to feel the echoes of the Eldorians' grand consciousness. It was a profound, humbling experience. When she finally stepped back through the shimmering veil into the harsh reality of the Ashfall wastes, the sun was rising, painting the sky in fiery hues. Eldoria disappeared behind her, once again a ripple in the air, a myth, a whisper. Eldoria was changed. She carried not just knowledge, but a deep sense of wonder and a renewed understanding of the infinite possibilities of existence. The map had led her to a forgotten city, but the city had revealed a forgotten truth. Some disappearances are not endings, but transformations. And some secrets are best left as whispers, guarding the profound beauty within.